As a new day dawns, amidst the final chaos that comes right before we wake up, dreams clash and bring forth memories of important moments, fantasized and blurred, of a past terrestrial life. For me, it's like a dream come true. Here I am, in Cambodia, sailing on the Mekong, a mystical river symbolizing in itself a trip to Asia. Just like a flying carpet rushing down the Himalaya and winding through China, Laos, Burma, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam, the Mekong River is an imaginary vehicle that every adventurer in the world visiting this side of the globe would dream to ride. In this unique region in the center of the country, the river becomes larger and its shores spread apart. A kind of delta rises up in the middle of its course, spreading over a couple of kilometers. And during the dry season, when the water level is low, countless islands sheltering tiny villages appear.
My father died in 1977 during the Khmer Rouge regime. I was still young and he didn't have time to teach me how to fish. I became a fisherman many years later. My uncle taught me. Before, fishing wasn't so tough since there was a lot of fish in the Mekong. However, now there's more and more poaching. People fishing with electricity and explosives. With our nets and traditional rods, we just can't match them. And we can't do anything to stop them. Small fishermen like us aren't strong enough to push them away. We're not policemen. If we try to intimidate them, we put ourselves at risk. Some of us have been attacked by these people before. We ask them to at least not destroy our boats. On the river, we're free. We can fish wherever we want. It's up to each one of us to choose our own spot. And if there aren't any fish left, we just move the nets. Each fisherman is independent. We work alone or with our family on our own boats.
I leave the fisherman alone while he continues bringing up his nets, and I go to the family house to walk with his son to school. The dry season lasts several months and turns the land in the fields into a hard, cracked and dusty crust. In a couple of weeks, rain should come pouring down, and farmers will go back to the rice fields. This little school is isolated in the middle of the fields, with no roads or marked path leading to and from it. And yet, it had been awaited by the island's inhabitants for years.
I want the children of this island to be educated, just like children from other villages. When I was a child, I didn't go to school, and I took courses in a pagoda. So, after completing my studies, my dream was to go back to my village and to bring knowledge to the children there, so they could grow. Still, things have changed a lot since my childhood. We used to go to school in pagodas or under coconut trees. I would have loved to have a school such as this one. As a child, I didn't have access to a school on the island, and since we didn't have engines either at that time, I had to row to a nearby island. Now they've built this school, and the kids can come on foot. The school is located in the middle of the fields because the villagers wanted it there. They all gathered together and donated part of their land. That's how we could build this school. In the beginning, it was impossible to teach here. As soon as it rained, there was mud everywhere. It was leaking from all sides. I was forced to leave the school to go teach inside the villages' houses. However, this year the government helped by building a concrete floor. Children today are not focused at school. When I was their age, I already knew how to read. Whereas in my class today, only 1 or 2 are able to read correctly. Yet Khmer isn't hard to learn. They often come to class without having done their homework. We can't really blame them, though. When I ask them why they haven't done their homework, the most common answer is that they had to help their parents at home with daily chores. Going to fish, for instance. It's very common here. What I really want to share with the village's children is everything I learned in other places. I want to share knowledge and give them the opportunity to grow, to have a job later on, like mine. I believe that the more educated children are, the less likely they are to be cheated and abused later on in life.
My wife is from the same village as me. I met her thanks to my mother, who arranged our marriage. She thought this would be a good union, since we both grew up without a father. She also thought our life conditions were similar, and so we could help each other.
The whole family is from the island. My parents and I were born here. I grew up in this village, and I got married here too. We all live very close to each other, and it's been like this for generations. My parents weren't fishermen, they were farmers.
I have 8 children, and 4 of them are already married. It's actually an average size for a family. Some people have 12 kids.
My job is to take care of the house and of our small children. The grown-ups work with their father. I cook food and wait for everyone to come home. I don't want to get involved in my children's marriage. I want them to choose their spouse. As long as they get along well and respect the laws, customs and traditions, it works for me.
For now, we live exclusively from fishing because we can't work the land. We have to wait for the rain before going back to the fields. We cultivate rice, our basic food. Fishing is a way to earn some money to buy ingredients such as salt or glutamate, or medicine when someone's sick.
I like to take care of the house, cook the meals and go to the rice fields with my husband and children. I never go fishing, however. I don't like that.
We live in a traditional house. I built it myself with natural materials such as straw or bamboo. It shelters my family. I had to ask the neighbours and some friends for help to build it. They all came to help. And in exchange, we offered some food and drinks during the whole day.
I'd like a new wooden house, a simple one, taller. I would have liked a house made of concrete, but we don't have the money. We always lack money. We can't save enough because we're always spending it on food, medical care and the children's studies. We just can't put aside enough money to build a big house like the others. This place is sacred. It was chosen by the villagers because of the tall tree. Nobody knows its age, but the elders have always known this tree. They say it survived many fires. The whole forest around had burnt. There was nothing left except this tree. People thought that was because a genie lived there. And so they decided to build an altar under the tree. Since then, villagers have been gathering regularly to honour it. This is a ritual for the spirits. Our ancestors used to have that kind of ceremony before a journey, or to help them carry out a project. These are very old beliefs, but they continue on today. These stones have been found under the tree. The villagers consecrated them, and they became the symbol of the genie. Since that day, we've been worshipping these stones. Cambodians have two religions. They're Buddhist and animist. When a child is ill and we can't cure him or her with traditional medicine, people gather and pray to the genies. Sometimes it works. And so our beliefs are strengthened, and we start thinking that only genies are effective. There are only 2 or 3 music bands such as ours around, so we go wherever we're asked to. When other bands aren't available, people ask for us, and we go from island to island to play in the various villages.
In Cambodia, just like in many countries with a strong animist belief, the spirits have been sharing people's daily lives for thousands of years. Genies are respected and feared, whether they're good or bad. Even more so because they're everywhere. In the wilderness, but also among crops or the land surrounding the houses, which themselves are protected by other genies. All in all, there's a spirit for anything that deserves respect, benevolence or protection, in order to ensure prosperity and good health in each family. Every time I find myself in a situation of change, when certain customs or certain trades disappear to be replaced by other, more modern or profitable ones, I force myself to take some distance and to try to understand what is truly gained with this change. Soon, this little boat-making workshop will be gone, because plastic or glass fibre hulls are coming, and they inevitably replace wooden boats. And so, a craft will be lost. The owner of this small, family-owned shipyard will have to invest in new machinery that he perhaps won't be able to repair himself. He'll be dependent upon raw material coming from abroad, hundreds of kilometres from here, whereas he had access to all the wood he could need, provided by a bountiful nature, and traders who also happened to be his neighbour. Whether forced or accepted, these changes shape a future that's easy to foretell. A future that modern societies know all too well as they struggle today to deal with its negative consequences, may they be social, environmental, or cultural. We feel like telling them to be wary of turnkey solutions from abroad that will supposedly simplify their life. But we also find some comfort in the idea that people from these unspoiled regions will find, in the inevitable changes to come, a unique way, adapted to their needs. When the way things work seems to move further and further away from common sense, I always wonder. Yet for now, these three fishermen come to pick up their boat, because tonight, they're going out on the river. is now time for me to leave the Mekong and its fishermen with their backfiring boats. As the noise fades away, the river is left with a hazy silence, and the soft sounds of its inhabited shores come back as I drift on the water amidst the numbness of the last rainless days. For very soon, everything will change. The rainy season will begin, and with it a complete upheaval. The river will grow and slowly gain more than 5 meters. The peaceful landscapes will be drowned under turbulent water for months. Yet the strongest plants will brush aside the currents and continue to grow as best they can, thus revealing, when the water level drops again, a fantastic scenery. Before moving towards the mountains to the east of the country, close to the Vietnamese border, I have a spiritual meeting to attend. As the official religion, Buddhism is everywhere in Cambodia. Pagodas are places to pray and meditate in, but also where the community of monks living there spend their time. The population visits them the whole year long during ceremonies. They're financed, maintained and restored by the inhabitants themselves. As for me, I'm lucky enough to be welcomed in areas usually reserved for the monks.
When I was young, I remember I loved listening to the monks praying. I was entranced, and it made me want to become a monk too.
I
also did it to show gratitude to my parents and to help people to do good things. I don't know how long I'll be a monk. It'll depend on how I feel. So far, I've been living in the pagoda for 5 years. I must say it's difficult for me to learn all these lessons and the Pali language that is very difficult. And I have a hard time remembering everything, you know? Because I'm supposed to learn everything by heart. Boys my age are getting married, but that time hasn't come for me yet. I still want to spend a lot of time in the pagoda, to learn, to help people develop their Buddhism.
On top of traditional subjects, monks also follow a religious education, no matter their age. An important aspect is learning the Pali language, used in all Theravada Buddhism founding texts and prayers. Between religious responsibilities, daily chores to do, studies during their whole life in the monastery, and assignments they must carry out following the villagers' requests, monks have unexpectedly busy days. I'm leaving the Mekong region to move deeper into the territories of the Phnom people. Once upon a time, this region at the far east of the country didn't have proper roads, which meant several days of travel to reach it. This helped preserving the culture and traditions of the local populations. When I arrive, I marvel at the peace, simplicity and relaxed rhythm of life in this Phnom village.
I've seen a lot of things. I grew up in this village and I was born here 80 years ago. Before, villages and people used to move from hill to hill. The custom was that when one of the village's patriarchs died, the village would move to a new area and settle there. These were small villages with only 2 or 3 families. I've been living here for 20 years and I won't move. Villages don't move as much as they used to anyway. The Phongs don't write. Everything is shared orally, such as the method to build our traditional thatch houses, that is handed down from generation to generation. Although nowadays people build more and more wooden houses, my parents taught me everything. Building houses, working bamboo, cultivating the land. Everything I know about life was given to me by the elders. My generation and my children's still know quite a lot. But the new generation, the youngest ones, they no longer know the old techniques. I try to teach the children how to make baskets, but they're not interested. They say, "If you want, I don't mind going to school, but I'm not interested in this."
new Great Road is slowly opening up the region and stimulating trade with the rest of the country. It's a great opportunity for such simple populations that see tourism as a chance to diversify activities that were, up until now, exclusively focused on growing cashew nuts. A fertile plot, trees planted by his great-grandfather, and a reliable nature that never lets him down. This farmer can trust his rows of cashew trees to deliver the expected quantity of cashew nuts. Cambodia is the biggest producer of cashew nuts in Southeast Asia. However, it doesn't get as much profit from it as it should, because the produce is sent to Vietnam right after harvest in order to go through a complex treating and roasting process that turns a toxic ingredient when ripe into the delicious kernel everyone knows. When looking at the kids burning their fingers in their haste to try the roasted fruit, I remember the chestnuts that we eagerly taste right off the fire, with that same willingness to share, but very far away from here. Its slow pace and the precision of its movements, the respect its mere presence inspires, the light in its eyes when it looks at a human, everything in this animal is fascinating and makes me stand still. As I watch, I forget that I'm here so close to it.
When my father grew too old to continue taking care of the elephant, I took over. I was 12 years old. My son, right behind me, started when he was 15. Life would have been much harder without the elephant, because we only had two solutions to make a living: using the animal's strength or ours. Nowadays, we no longer use the elephant for any work requiring strength. Adults work in the fields. When they come back from school, children take care of the house and the animals we raise in the yard. The elephant belonged to my parents. They had exchanged it against animals, buffaloes. However, they weren't its only owners, since other villagers had contributed to its purchase too, by bringing pigs, hens, or rice. So other villagers could borrow the elephant when they needed it to carry merchandise. We lent it to them for a week or two without asking for anything in exchange, and sometimes we rented it out. Now it's different, of course, since people own vehicles. But it was like this before, and everyone could rent an elephant. We let the elephant go to the forest freely, in a location full of bamboo, because an elephant is different from a buffalo. It eats all the time, almost 24 hours a day. It sleeps half an hour or an hour and it resumes eating. We only attach it to a tree when it's too close to crops, otherwise it destroys everything. Elephants are surrounded by many beliefs. For instance, if a pregnant woman gives birth outside of the family house, it's a bad omen. And the elephant can become sick. Our ancestors wouldn't let a tamed elephant have a baby because it was a bad omen for the family and the whole village. If it happened, they had to ward off bad luck by making so many offerings and sacrificing so many buffaloes that it became much too expensive for the families. And so to avoid this, we made sure elephants wouldn't mate. Last year, a Kornak, an elephant owner, left a male and a female together, and they quickly got close. The elephants then came into the village, destroyed several houses, and attacked and killed the Kornak. Nobody in the village could sleep after that. A policeman ended up solving the problem by killing the male. This female will turn 60 this year. She's like a family member now. I think she likes us a lot. But since she's always in the forest taking a stroll, so to speak, we can't keep an eye on her, protect her and take care of her as much as we'd like, and as much as we do with other animals. When I was a kid during King Norodom Sihanouk, I remember that we used to follow the elders to the forest to catch young elephants. There were 2 or 3 of us for each elephant. Before, we didn't kill elephants. It started during the Khmer Rouge regime. People started to kill males to get ivory. Before, there used to be elephants everywhere, in the forest and in the villages. When the last elephant in the village will die, it'll be over. The army forbids capturing them, and nobody knows how to do it anymore anyway. The ones who know are too old now.
I imagine the strange feeling he must feel when saying these words. Because his people can no longer catch elephants in the wilderness as they used to, and their strict tradition hinders breeding in captivity, the whole Kornak lineage and the culture associated with it will end the day the last tamed elephant dies. This perspective brings a whole new dimension to the care this man gives to his animal. Traveling to other lands is a choice and an initiative that any adventurer eager to meet others will take. Then, as we get closer to the expected land, the willpower that started it all slowly gives way to some kind of uncertainty, to randomness and to luck. For traveling means feeling fragile, vulnerable and needy for a time. Everything hangs on the generosity of our host and how they'll welcome us, which will directly impact the beauty of an experience capable of changing one's life. I've experienced in Cambodia everything a traveller can hope for. I'm grateful beyond words, and this film shows but a fragment of what people gave me. The world waits for no one, and I'm eager to meet up with it.